The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Hey, welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer, he's Jeremy Greene, and of course, we are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. The Chicago Bears beat the Chicago Bears beat the Las Vegas Raiders?
God almighty, am I glad we waited a day to do this.
Yikes, 20-9. 20-9 was your final score, and the poo has hit the fan with the Las Vegas Raiders. They now don't have a coach.
Let's start with the Bears, and we'll get to the Raiders.
Okay, well, with the Bears, you had Justin Fields. He didn't turn the ball over, so at least there's that. Yeah.
But
I mean, the stat line wasn't great. I mean, 12 of 20, 111 yards, and a touchdown. But 0 turnovers. So, yeah. And then you had the running backs. The running backs were a different story, I thought. David Montgomery being sidelined with the injury. Now you had Damien Williams and Khalil Herbert sharing carries in this game. Khalil Herbert got 18. Damien Williams got 16. And they both performed pretty well.
I told you when the Bears drafted him that that's going to be one of the best value picks of the draft. I loved Khalil Herbert. I think he is. I can't tell you that he at any point takes over for David Montgomery, but I think he's going to have a role on this team for quite some time.
Right.
I like him a lot. I never really understood the Damien Williams thing. Now that I've watched it, I completely get it. Damien Williams is the one they trust to pass block. That's it. There is nothing more to that. They trust him to stay in and pass block and protect Justin Fields because they're afraid Herbert might get him killed.
Yeah.
Herbert's not a bad blocker. He's just an inexperienced blocker. And you get a rookie quarterback with a rookie running back, and that's a recipe for somebody to get absolutely fucking freight trained, and they don't want to do that.
Right. 16 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown for Damien Williams, but 18 carries, 75 yards for Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert's the running back for the Bears you want moving forward. He's the best running back in this backfield, not named David Montgomery, and to me, it's not even all that close. The thing I would be afraid of, if I'm a Bears fan, the thing I would be afraid of is that Justin Fields seems to be nominally getting better. The one thing I will say is that I think he's on the same trajectory as Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson.
Which is?
You're going to improve nominally. I want Matt Nagy away from Justin Fields. One of the best qualities he has is that he is elusive. And it really is starting to bother me that I feel like this can't be a Justin Fields thing where he just refuses to run. Because in my opinion, he can't be successful in this league. I mean, he's played 5 games. He has 20 carries total.
Yeah.
In the 3 games he started, it's 9.
Yeah, but I also don't know that I want to turn him loose doing that.
I want him to be. This is Lamar Jackson all over again. I don't want you to be this version of quarterback. I don't want you to sit in the pocket and try that, because that's not what you are.
Not even
that's that is a recipe for him to be a failure in this league. That is not how he got here.
But not even for the first few starts until you can see that he can handle being on the run and making those decisions.
No, because right now you're getting repetitions. That you need to let him play the way he needs to play.
Okay.
Now, if he can't protect himself, that's one thing, but I think he can. I think, and it might take him getting just the piss knocked out of him. And I know he got hurt in this game. I think he's still, from everything I've heard, I still think he's going to play against the Packers on Sunday. I think you have to figure. This goes back to the draft when I got a lot of shit of, oh, you don't like Justin Fields. No, it's not I don't like Justin Fields. I hate the marriage with him and Matt Nagy because it doesn't make any sense.
Right. No,
because this is not what he does. This is not what works for. This doesn't work for the kind of offense that Matt Nagy wants to play. Just none of it's right. It's just a match made in hell. And I think it's going to be a problem until they get rid of Matt Nagy. Once they get rid of Matt Nagy, I think Justin Fields can be a successful quarterback. But this is a guy that I want to see bring in. I still think Joe Brady winds up in Cincinnati, but I want to see one of these offensive minds. Matt Nagy is not an offensive mind to me.
Right.
Matt Nagy is a guy that had lunch one time with Andy Reid, and all of a sudden people went, oh, he's a genius.
Right.
No, it's kind of easy to be a genius when you're associated with Andy Reid. And so I just look at this team and go, you're in a holding pattern. I do see things to be encouraged by for this season. Okay, cool. You're 3-2. You're the worst 3-2 team in the league. It's not even fucking close. To me, there's not even one in the ballpark of you.
Yeah.
And you're about to get the pee-pee beat out of you multiple times. Here's the list. Okay, it is close because there's one that I forgot about. I forgot about the Denver Broncos. You just look at the schedule going forward, and there's you are what I thought you were. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't win games like this going against, let's just go the next 5 in a row. The Packers at the Buccaneers, the 49ers at the Steelers, the Ravens. It's 5 losses.
Yeah.
You're not winning one of those games.
Yeah.
As Steelers, I think you're actually better than they are, but you're not going into their house and beating them. Did you see what they just did to Teddy Bridgewater? Mm-hmm. You really don't think they're going to do that to Justin Fields?
Oh, yeah. You talk about those 3-2 teams, one of them now, the Las Vegas Raiders. They picked up the loss this week, and it's hard to say that all of the ancillary stuff floating around about head coach Jon Gruden didn't have an impact on this team.
It's impossible to say, and it would be stupid to say.
Because this Las Vegas team is way better than the team that showed up to play that game against the Chicago Bears.
Agreed with you.
And now that Jon Gruden is gone, you got a new coach, or you got the interim
special
coach.
teams coordinator.
Yeah, the interim coach now. Will they be able to pick it up and move on? That's the big question.
I think so. And I really struggle to pronounce his last name, Rich Bisaccia. I would burn that tape. I would say, and I'm not one of these Johnny Rah-Rah, Rex Ryan ceremonial coaches where I go dig a hole and bury it. Mm-hmm. I'd consider it.
Yeah.
I would look at this team and go, we need to put that whole thing behind us.
Yeah, this is the death of the Jon Gruden era.
And you know what? Put Jon Gruden's face on a dummy and set it on fire. Whatever it is you got to do to exorcise the demons of that asshat, you do it. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, that's why I think he was the one named the interim head coach. Is because they looked at it and went, he's been here. He knows these guys. He knows Derek Carr. Mm-hmm. He knows Darren Waller. He knows Josh Jacobs. And that's the guy. Gus Bradley's been here for an hour.
Yep.
And we want the guy that's been around this team and been here to build it. And I think they can do that. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I have not seen a more important regular season game for a team in the NFL in 5 years than them going into Denver this week will be. And at first glance, I think they are going to beat the high holy piss out of Denver.
Yeah.
I do. And you know what? I could be completely wrong. They could come out flat. And I could be wrong. I'm going to be heavily on Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And I haven't looked at the line movement on this. I have a funny feeling I'm not going to be alone.
Okay. Josh Jacobs last week, he got a touchdown. He had another touchdown that got called back by a penalty. There were a lot of penalties in this game. The Raiders had 10 penalties. And it's things like that that just kill your drives, and it's obvious their heads weren't in the game.
And that's what, like I said, if I'm Rich Bisaccia, I'd go dig a hole. I'd put a Jon Gruden dummy in it. I'd set it on fire, and I'd go, boys, none of it matters now.
Yep.
We're recording this on Tuesday, and it'll come out Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning, we're going to show up, we're going to go to work, and none of that other shit matters. Yep. And I would tell every member of the press, we're not answering these questions. Mm-hmm. You can answer them, you can ask them until you're blue in the face. We're not answering them. You draw the line in the sand of, that was him, this is us, fuck him, here we go.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to do it. And I think if they do that, I believe this Raiders team, just looking at what's coming ahead and what's in the offing, you got the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Giants in the next 3 weeks. It's 3 winnable games. You win those 3 games, you're 6-2. You play the Chiefs, which is a game that you can win it, I just don't think you will. Mm-hmm. And then you catch the Bengals and the Washington football team and the Browns and the Broncos and the Colts. And this season's not lost. I cannot emphasize that enough. Right. I've heard so much just throwing dirt on the Raiders, and I'm going, you're not seeing the same thing I am. Mm-hmm. If this is a good team, and I think it is, I've said this for months, so if I'm wrong, I've been on this train for as long as anybody's been on it. I think this is a good team. And good teams get over adversity like this, and I think they're going to.
Yeah. 20-9 was the final score. Chicago Bears over the Las Vegas Raiders. Don't forget you can get all our team-by-team content here in the Sportsocracy throughout the entire season. Hit that subscribe button so you see when the new content comes out. And, of course, join us every weekday morning in the Wicked Weed studio at 10 a.m. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we'll see you next time.